Hello everyone, Pauline here. I just wanted to take a minute, jump in and say hello. This morning I decided not to do a post. The reason why I didn't do a post, I do one every day and I really love to do one every day, even though Instagram is a little bit harder now with just the things that have changed with Instagram, and I'm still trying to sort out, what's going on out there. But I decided not to do a post today because it just felt like I was just throwing stuff up just to do a post. And so I took the morning off, but instead what I decided to do now was to just chat with you. Some of you know that I hurt my back a few weeks ago, and I have to say it's real drag. But I thought, what if I could just chat with you about what's going on in my studio and what I've been doing, and also just take a look at some work. Yesterday, I did a little bit of work as well as this week. It's not easy. I don't know what the most comfortable position is for me, but one of the things that my mom said to me years ago was, whatever happens, make sure you continue to do what you love. You've got to find a way. Now, of course, you don't want to be in pain or if you, just whatever, right? But it was really, really important. Now, my mom has passed since 5 years ago, but it's really, really crucial. This was one of the gifts that she gave me. She didn't share lots about her feelings, but this was really key. Do what you love. And so this week, even though I was in pain, I figured I've got to sort out a way where I can keep painting. Because it's been a really busy year for me with running the intuitive composition course and I See Me and Paint the Way Up and Paint the Way groups and memberships, I really haven't had lots of time to paint, and I feel it. I really feel it. And I was just coming out of the weeds when I hurt my back. But I'm going to share with you what I've been doing just because, hey everybody, it's so nice of you to hop in and say hi. I just thought I'd share with you what I've been doing because I'm making bits and pieces of headway. Let me just bring this up here. This is a really small, it's a 12 by 12, but this delighted me yesterday because like I said, I haven't been painting that much, but when you're not painting, I'm trying to get this to work. Here we go. When you're not painting for a while, whether it's when you're on holidays or, it gets busy at work or, whatever. So injury for me, don't you notice how you kind of lose the plot a bit about what's going on and how do you do work and, all that. So this painting here, I hope you can see it. This was really fun for me. I brought in, I can't even tell you what it looked like a few days ago, but I brought in this pink swoosh here and this one here, and it was lighter a couple days ago. And one of the things that I realized a couple days ago, because I haven't been painting regularly, I was thinking, what do you normally do? Like, how do you even pull off these paintings? And so I really had to slow down and think to myself, well, what do I like to do? And, or more importantly, what do I want to explore next? And so, often, and you'll see this in a lot of my work, there are a lot of diagonals in my work. Let me just swing the camera over here. I've got a few tables in the way, so I won't reach. But, I do love my diagonal movements. And, that's pretty evident, but I also am really curious about exploring large fields of color. That's one thing that's on my list. And also kind of moving the paint across, not so much in a harsh diagonal, but maybe moving it across and then still enjoying what I love but maybe not so extremely. Anyway, let me just bring us over here and see if there's anything else to share. And maybe the light's a bit better here. I did this really spontaneously, so I didn't set up my studio really efficiently to be able to do this live. But I'll see if I can move that table out of my way so I can move the tripod back. Everything on my studio is on wheels. And that's really great because I can just shove my, I've got 3 trolleys. They're 24 wide by 48 long. They're 40 inches high so that I don't have to bend over because I'm 5'11". So I need everything tall for me. I've had to raise all of my tripods too. Find ways to do that because they don't make tripods for tall people. Anyway, so these trolleys are on wheels, which is awesome because these 3 trolleys, I don't know if you can see, there's 2 of them. I can configure them into a super large table as well. So that's really great. I know I'm all over the place, but like I said, I didn't plan this. I decided I wanted to be spontaneous and just connect with you this way. Anyway, back to the topic of painting. So I've just been really wanting to get into my painting and explore. And this is like my motto, really. In my courses and memberships, I talk about exploring, and that really takes the heat off. It takes the heat off me or anyone from banging out a painting, and instead I can follow my curiosity because we're all loaded with ideas. We're loaded with ideas. And so you want to, grab a hold of those ideas and try them out on your work. And so this wall has got, I don't know, I must have about maybe 25 paintings on the go. And I have some that are resting right now because they're stalled. I've got some on the table. And that just gives me the opportunity to explore my ideas, but be patient at the same time. Because we get these ideas and then we just want to go flying into them, but then we don't let the paint dry. So when you've got a lot on the go, if you have the space to do it, then you can explore your ideas without messing up while you're letting something dry. And even in my previous studio, which was a quarter of the size of this one, I still would have about 20 paintings on the go because I found that really worked for me. Not initially, because I still had the mindset that I had to finish paintings. But as soon as I changed the word, like creating a painting, to exploring, that really freed me up. Anyway, so recently, when I'm actually like taking a minute to paint or think about my own artwork, I've been thinking I really enjoy diagonals, but I would like to explore calming some of that energy down because a diagonal really comes with a lot of energy, and exploring a little bit more gentle movement. And so, this one here is really a sweet little one that I was starting to explore that. This little one here, there's another one around here. Here we go. Which is really interesting. This one I posted a few weeks ago, and the color on this right now in this light is a little bit it's subtle, but it's not as colorful as it is in reality. And it also has some neutrals and stuff. But what's really interesting about this movement is that years ago when I got into abstract art, I really did use the horizon line a lot, and I really enjoyed it. And then I realized I was using it as a bit of a crutch. And the pendulum swings, particularly when you would try something new, you want to try something new, and you almost go flying off the deep end. And I really dove into my art practice with exploring shape and line. This was a few years ago, and I when I was introduced to Nick Wilton's free Art to Life workshop. And so I really pushed myself to explore shape, which is great because before I was afraid of it. But I also wanted to leave the idea of the horizon line. But I think in doing so, I also let go of what I enjoyed about the horizon line, which was that calming movement. And I dove into diagonals. So there's nothing wrong with that either, because like I said, we have tons of ideas. And so you want to explore them. And I think that we should. And so, you know, never judge yourself for having like lots of ideas. Just write them down so you make sure that you, you know, when you're stuck for them, you have a place to go and mine some of these wonderful ideas when you're stuck, right? If you guys have any questions, just feel free to write them in, because I see there's lots of you here and it's really great to see you. But, you know, recently starting these larger fields of color has shown me, and more importantly shown me because I'm slowing down from all the work I've been doing this year, is I've been sort of thinking to myself, well, what is it? What do you want? Okay, good. You want to explore fields of color, moving across the picture plane, sort of cooling down that energy from diagonals. Okay, great. That's all really physical and practical, but what does that mean on a deeper level to me? And so I think, though, just thinking about that, then it's the calmness, right? Like I had a really busy year. And so that might be something that I want to bring into my work as well, is just for me now is this calmness also. I'm feeling like I want simplification more as well, which is what I'm getting out of this painting. This one here, I just absolutely loved what was going on with it yesterday, but I'm feeling like it might need some simplification. But because I have so many paintings on the go, I can just stick it on the wall here and move on to the next one and allow myself to think about that, because I think when we push our art too quickly, you miss the gems that it's here to help you with. Like, we choose creating art for lots of reasons. I've always wanted to paint as a child or even be an artist, but my interests were different then. I wanted to do pretty pictures of realistic stuff that I was seeing. But when I did get the chance to paint, which was a little bit over 10 years ago, I did do realistic painting, and it was really great for me because I had experienced a loss, and the realistic painting, which was more expression-like, but it was representational, was really helpful for me in my healing. But I also knew that I needed something more, and the abstract was what I wanted to go for because it didn't rely on perfection or getting something to be exactly the way I saw it or what have you. It was going to open doors to me. I didn't know why. I just felt like it was the right thing to choose, which it is. And so the more I explore my creativity and abstract art and how it folds into my life and my life folds into it, the more I sort of discover things that are important to me. It's really amazing how you've heard this time and time again, that art really feeds your life. And this is why, you know, putting the art back into my life, even though it's really tough to paint with a sore back, and I'm working on it. So, you know, I'm not just in pain, I'm actually working on strengthening what's not strong enough. But painting again has just fed my soul. Even though it hurts to paint, it's really fed my soul. It's fed my, you know, my inner being, my mind, and that really is so important because at the end of the day, this is a passion and a longing for me And it's important to make time for that, or it's important to ensure that if it's challenging to paint, that we find a way. So that could be, you work all day. How are you going to fit it in? I mean, I just did this presentation with my I See Me group for a member in particular who was having difficulty with fitting art in her day. So I did this whole thing on how, we're looking at the structure of the day, and then how can you fit it in, and then this is a way to tackle it. Like, we're all different, but how can you break up that hour or that 2 hours into the most constructive way possible, right? And so the same for me with these back issues at the moment is, how can I do what I need to do to feed my soul without, adding to the fire in my back, right? And it's small increments, just, a little bit of sketchbook work, painting on the wall, maybe not on the table right now so that I don't encourage any leaning, that sort of thing. So that's the practical side of things. But also, I'm seeing in my work this need to have more calm. And so it'll be really interesting to see what happens as I move forward, as I move out of having back pain and into painting more. Now that the intuitive composition course is finished just this week. Nada, oh, thank you. Nada says, hello, I hope you feel better soon. Yeah, me too. I was just on the phone this morning with my chiropractor who lives 7 hours away. Long story how we met, but he was wonderful. He gave me a whole bunch of exercises to do to strengthen my back. It's not about not doing. He says I have to stay, keep moving, right? Not all the time. You have to pay attention, but paying attention is so important. This isn't just about my body. This is about, how do I feel about my art? Am I going after what I want? Am I just painting because I got to paint, because I said I had to paint? Or am I stepping back and looking at my work and saying, yes, this feels like me? Or do I like what I see? What do I think about my work now? Does it feel good? Is there a design happening? What about the design? Do I need to strengthen it? Is it too chaotic? Is it too calm? Do I have colors that I'm interested right now? All of these questions, and the moving in and out, which I talk a lot about in intuitive composition, is, really sinking into who you are and how you want to be, and just responding to your innards, but then also stepping back and asking questions. This is so, so key. And this is key for me in my work while I'm doing a painting or a series of paintings, or even what I'm interested in, or even why I'm choosing colors. Because years ago, I would paint all afternoon. And then at the end of it all, I just look at it and I go, it's just a mess. Like, what did I accomplish? Do I even know what I'm after? And it's not that painting intuitively needs to be really unconscious. It's just that you want to be painting from a space that really feels like you. And if it's not feeling like you, then to stop and ask questions, both design questions, but also you questions. Is this really what I want to be doing? Am I really actually making some choices that feel like something that is embodying and embracing the curiosity and the idea that I had? So let's just talk about ideas for a second. On this painting here, and this one here, and this one here, I don't know if you can see it down here, but I'll just put it here. These and a number of other pieces, these are 8, I think these are 8 by 8. I also have 10 by 10s and 12 by 12s. And I wanted to explore simplicity and restraint with these, which I believe I was successful in these. And this has got layers. This has got some really beautiful layers. And, do I think that the design works? Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm rotating it now and I'm thinking, okay, it's pretty subtle and I'm okay with that. And the color's not exactly right because I've got a light above me. But I wanted to explore simplicity, not just with what the piece looked like, but also my approach. Like instead of, you know, make sure I'm not just going in there trying a whole bunch of stuff. I think what you said about exploring is so important because it's that drive to finish that gets us into a mess sometimes. That's what Helen says. You're absolutely right, Helen. That's absolutely it. And I've been working with artists for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. And that's the main thing that gets people into trouble, is trying to push to the end rather than appreciate being in the moment. And the reasons around that are time, money, supplies, and what have you. And I answer back by saying, you know, think about all the other passions in the world that people really enjoy, like skiing, mountain biking, travel, motorcycling, car racing, golf. All of these things are really based on the enjoyment of the moment, not getting to the end of the day, because they don't end up with anything. They spend a lot of money, but it's about enjoying it. And painting is the same. I mean, obviously we're making a painting while we're exploring our ideas. But if we stay in the moment of exploring and building upon that, it's way more fun. And it's way more self-appreciative of your ideas and how you want to chase them, giving them space to flourish, giving you even time to percolate and come up with a fresh idea about what it is that might help this piece or what have you. Like when I look at this piece in the camera here, without looking at it again, you know, I've got this dark, like bright orangey color here, and then it takes me across. So, you know, I kind of like this cantilever feeling happening here. I mean, this isn't, you know, I'm critiquing right now, but do I like what's happening with it right now? It doesn't bother me. This is pretty beautiful as well, and it's quite top heavy, and yet this dark area here is hinging quite nicely into that. So I don't really have a problem with that. I am working on a large painting that's really been giving me a pain. I wonder if I can put it up. It's not that big. It's only 24 by 24. But, well, I'll see if I can get it up on the wall. Let me just push things around a little bit without, you know, throwing my back out even further. Let's just see if I can get it up here. Okay, so this painting has been driving me bananas, and I actually hung it upside down right now. I kind of like it better. This one I worked on yesterday for a couple of, for about an hour, and I had it flipped the other way, which I'll just look at. It's really good to flip them around because then you can see any design issues that are happening. Like when I look at it this way, there's this heaviness on my right, and so that doesn't turn my dial. I created it, like I've been working at it in this orientation. I don't know why that's so crooked. Here we go. I've been working on it in this orientation, and I feel like I want to get something interesting down here, and I think I want to bring the light up here. But I think I have a video of this actually on Instagram where I went in and I looked at it in grayscale. And then I drew on the painting. That'll be on my grid a couple days ago. I drew on the painting just to mark, okay, I want more light here. I want here, you know, that kind of thing. I drew on it with, you know, one of my water-soluble crayons. And it was really going great. And then I kind of lost a color that I really like, which is fine because it's in the video, so I can go back and look at that color if I want. But the other thing too is it's not important what it was that I enjoyed. I'm trying out ideas. So I tried out an idea down here and I kind of lost what I wanted, which is fine because then what happened was I thought, okay, you know, I've lost that color, but I know how to make it. So what else is there? And I pulled out some supplies that I had purchased recently, but I forgot about. And I tried some things out, which I really liked. It was a spray paint, I think. Okay, and that's new for me. I don't use spray paint very often. So I just tried to hit it with some spray paint. And that was like, okay, well, I've tried that. Now what else? And so I thought about too, you know, what did you used to really love when you started abstract art? And it was the exploration of materials. And it's funny how we can forget these things. I mean, come on, right? You make an amazing painting, you're in the zone, you're like, I got this, I figured it out, I know, yes, I gotta like group my values, or I've gotta, you know, create some more contrast, or I've got to create some colors that are more harmonious or what have you. And then the next day you go in and you forget it all. But that's the part where you go, how am I doing here? Okay, I'm completely lost. Okay, let's step back. What, you know, and I have a book that I write in. It's called the What Worked book, and I'll write things in after a good painting session because that helps me. It helps me right away go in there and look at what worked on a painting before, and maybe I want to try it again. So this painting here, this got away on me, which is fine because I'm going to go over it with something, glaze, sanding, what have you. I'm going to turn it again, because it might be helpful for you as well to look. Yeah, I'm not loving it. So you know what I realize is I like it either this orientation or the other way. And so that's important because I do create several paintings that, you know, I can turn them around and they look great, whichever orientation, but there are other paintings that I really want something to be top heavy or what have you. And this feels good to me, and so did the other way. Although, because I've looked at this so often in this direction, it's almost hard for me to see possibilities. So flipping it around helps. And also, often I will turn on the camera and video some work, whether it's going to be for Instagram. The movement bottom right to top left feels right for sure. I'm going to snapshot that, I think, and see there. Make sure that I read that later. Hey, Angela. Gosh, there's so many of you here. It's so wonderful. Marimar, Geyer. Yeah, you know, it's hard, eh? Because it's not all your real names. They're just fun handles. But anyway, you know, this is bugging me when I see it. It's just like, it's like a repeat of what I've got over here. And I don't like that. And before I dive into that, I really want to just think about what it is that I'm after. And sometimes I think that we jump into our work without thinking about what we're after, reconnecting with what it is that we want. So we'll see. I am happy that this light is in here. And often a lot of artists that I mentor, and we all do this, we get caught in the middle, like, because a lot of colors are sort of in the middle, like 4, 5, 6, 7. And those nuances are really kind of tough to get in there, I find anyway, especially light. Oh my God. Making those like small increments of light, but I've got that happening here. And it, you know, it required patience, it required some layering, it required putting paint on and then lifting it off, scratching in, putting texture, going from opaque to translucency, like, you know, Anyway, so this one here, I'm going to just, before I get back into it, I'm going to think about what I want to do to it. The other painting that I had, which, where did it go? Here. I'm loving this, and I'm just going to let that live a bit. I think, you know, maybe on this one, what might be nice is a glaze of some sort, but not maybe over the whole thing. Or maybe I need to, you know, I want to look at the size of my shapes too. So these are the things that I ask myself, right? I'll look at, you know, do I like the shapes? Do I like the size of my shapes? Does this feel good to me? Do I like my colors? Do I have enough variety in my colors? I definitely tend not to use too many colors now. I enjoy a limited palette because it's much easier for me to manage with all the things that I love to do. Because there's lots of texture in here, you guys. Like, lots of texture. And so it's really nice to have these broad fields that are so quiet when there's so much activity in other places. And the question is just then, is the activity in the right place or what have you? So that was really, I'm happy about that. I've got 3 over there, and I'm going to make my way over to just grab them so you can see what else. Okay, so one sec. And then I'm probably going to finish up because I can feel my body's yelling at me. I'll just put them on the wall here so they're easy for me to get at. Okay, this one here, I go in and out of love with this one. Not love like I've loved a part, but I love the design, and then I come back a couple days later and I think, no, it's too something or another. So I have to say, though, that while I work on this painting, I'm enjoying its evolution because it's had many renditions or additions or edits. And this one has lots of texture as well. And this is the beauty of exploring and getting, just going after my ideas, because yesterday I was looking at it and I think, there's so much texture there that you might not be able to see the texture anymore. So that's why I took that painting from behind, so that you wouldn't have so much to look at. So then I came in with this really sloshy brush stroke, which was a really nice contrast to all this texture in here. I mean, I don't know if you can see that, but there's lots. And there's also the obvious texture right up here, but there's very, very fine scratches through. Yeah, you can see that now. So I went in that to contrast it with, I muted the colors, but I also brought in a different kind of treatment of paint. It still has a feeling of not solid color, but that's what's happening down here. So we'll see about that, because I'm just going to leave that one alone and see what happens. This one here was just, this is early stages on this one, and it's explorations of translucency and opaque paint and scratches. It doesn't have a design happening at all. It doesn't have a design happening at all. Right now, I'm just sorting out what this one is going to be about. And I don't mean that like I'm going to, you know, sit down and write about it. But as I explore various things, you know, I might look at this today and say, okay, I like this, but I want it to go darker or lighter. Or I like this translucency, but it's, you know, what have you. Do I want a brighter pink or what have you? So I'll look at it and just kind of get a sense, do I like what's going on? And then I'll proceed with that exploration. The last one I'm going to show you is this one, which I'm really enjoying. This one here, okay, I can see that there is something going on that I don't really like, which is this color change is in alignment exactly with this. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. Maybe I'll bring some of it over here, or I'll extend some over, or I'll extend some gray, this color into that way, but I don't like that clear line. But this painting came about because I found a color on my palette. Like I had some there and I mixed two that I had never mixed before together, and it was amazing. So I went with it and I got this amazing, don't ask me what color it was. I just know that there was burnt orange in there somewhere, but the second color is what's really important, or maybe there were more. But the nice thing about having a wet palette is you can go back and look at what you've got, like a wet palette. Well, you'll have your original colors on there, or at least a hint of it. Anyway, I really like this painting because it's got some really fun things in there. It's got some, you know, some pattern. And I'm not a really big pattern person, but I do like my little scribbles, and I'm trying to push myself to try pattern in a way that feels good to me. But I also like some of the lines and the colors and what have you. So this one here stole my heart. And, you know, I'll just live with this. Maybe this isn't even going to bother me. Maybe something happens over here that I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I'm loving this one. And that's good. It's good to have heroes around that, or cheerleaders, because I'm all about pushing forward, but I also don't always kill off things that I love right away. I might in a painting, but I do keep paintings around that I feel great about, even though I'm not finished. Jean-Marie, thank you. You said that you love this one too. Me too, yeah. And I like to keep paintings around that are in progress, or they're not even quite done, but I like it because they teach me things. They teach me things about whatever it is, you know, something that I tried and I liked, or something, or even, you know, I can do this, especially on a day where you're not sure, you know. Anyway, so that's what I've been up to in small increments, and I really wanted to just share that with you because I haven't been painting as much as I want, and now I'm sort of moving back into painting more again. That is my goal, but my body's told me that I have to go slow, which, while that is a real bummer now, or like I think that's a bummer, but it's actually created a lot of space for me to be reflective. And this is the perfect time to be reflective about appreciating, you know, how your year has gone, and also the kind of year that you want to attract into your life moving forward. You know, it's not that you have to have all these really solid goals, but just to be open to your ideas, which is the same you want to be in your paintings, right? In your art practice. How are you going to bring your art into your life? Being open to all of those ideas. Anyway, I didn't see any questions here, so I'll just scoot back to take a peek. Thank you all for coming in here. Real depth of field in this one, but I don't know which one that was. And I know that these comments go away, so I'm going to look at them for a moment. But I do appreciate all of you that joined me to, you know, that I popped in to say hi, and you're just listening to, oh, thanks, Pam, Abram. Wow, beautiful. Wow, you guys are awesome. Interesting to see this small and the one on the wall next to each other. They might inform each other. They do. All of this work is speaking to each other, me to them. I mean, how can they not, right? There's influence going on, and be careful about that too. You know, when we scroll a lot, we're also often influenced and over-influenced. You want to return back to your source about what it is that you want to create in your work, even though we love other artists' work, it doesn't necessarily mean that's the kind of work that needs to come from us. Our kind of work needs to come from us, from our soul and our curiosity and our ideas and things like that. Because who else is going to bring your ideas forward but you? And this is your life. And that's what you want to make sure you're doing while you're here, right? Okay, I don't know how long, love the idea of review and grayscale. Oh gosh, yeah, that is so important. Value is, it's difficult with color to get the sense of the values until you put it into grayscale, and then you can really see, and also turn it to noir. I also, in Photoshop, will do something where it blasts out even the artistic details, so I can just see the structure of the painting, and that's it, without all that yummy stuff. Because, I'm going to put the yummy stuff in, but I still want to make sure that the structure is good. That's why squares are so good. Yeah, absolutely. Turning around your painting, if it's a square, makes it a lot easier to see the design for sure. This is such a good reminder for me to slow down and think more about what I want. And yeah, it's true. I'm a huge advocate of intuitive and then practical. Intuitive and then use your thinker. Go in with your feeling, come back out with your thinker. And this happens really, the more you do this, the more it becomes the part of your internal repertoire for painting. For sure. That's what I do, and I did not do this years ago. I would just paint, and thought I had to paint really fast. And no, sometimes I paint very slowly and methodically, and I think a lot. And other times I make quick movement, or I put stuff down fast because I need the contrast of that thinking. And if you think about painting intuitively, but also being strategic or analytical, that's a nice contrast in your work as well. See if there's anything else here. Anybody else? Just, you guys are really great. Thumbs up, claps, hearts. I really appreciate it. Helen says, I think what you said about exploring is so important because, yeah, okay, so I think I saw that one. Thank you for that. I think it was Ingrid who just said that. Just lots of people joining and saying hello. And I better just swing this up and see if there were any questions at the end. Sorry about my finger in front of the camera. No, it looks like you guys are just sat back and enjoyed me popping in to say hi, or at least I hope you enjoyed it. Now I have to stop because I have to go and get flat. But it was really, really nice hanging out with you. I really appreciate all of you who have joined me. I don't know how long I've been standing here. I'm going to guess 20 minutes. But that's more than enough for me because I can feel everything in there going. And I want to be able to paint today sometime. So I better go rest up so I can insert that into my day. But whatever you do, make sure you make time for the things that are important to you. Make time to be intuitive. Make time to step back and look at your work. Ask questions. Hold on to those ideas that are really important or they're, juicy. Write them down. Start a book. Make sure you always put that in there, your ideas, and just jot them down and keep them in a spot where you can go to if you get stuck. So my camera just said that it's low on batteries, so I'm going to get going before it drops the call, and it's gone. Now I see there was a question mark here, so let's just see. Do you choose colors while you're painting, or do you experiment with color before starting the canvas? Best wishes. And that was by C. Gore. I do both, but I do mostly choosing colors intuitively, and what I feel like I want to explore, I usually get a sense, I really, really hopped onto gray a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, gray. And then I started working more with neutrals, and pink has popped into my world recently. So I've been playing around with that. So neutrals, pink and gray, but I also really, really love a blue and green. And so I do try to push myself to explore more colors because they can inject something lovely into your painting. But, you know, I try to be strategic, but also to just listen to my innards. And that's what I want to part with you right now. Listen to your innards, okay? Listen to them. Mine's telling me I gotta go lay down, but I really appreciate everybody who's come in here today. I hope that this saves well, because sometimes it doesn't. And I hope I remember how to shut this off. So everybody have a really great day. And yeah, stay calm, curious, creative. Okay? Great. How do I shut this off? Well, we'll see.